Welcome, esteemed colleagues, to a discussion that traverses the magnificence and the shadows of the Ottoman Empire, a realm spanning continents, cultivating an amalgamation of cultures, yet also a stage for tyranny and conquest. Let us embark on this exploration, not as mere spectators, but as critical voyeurs into the essence of empire.
The Ottoman Empire's rise, a tale of strategic brilliance and fortitude, is as instructive as any episode from the annals of history. However, it's imperative to dissect the mechanisms of their expansion, understanding it not as destiny, but as the outcome of astute decisions and geographic advantage.
Indeed, their beginnings might be shrouded in the heroics of Osman and his warriors. Yet beneath these tales lies the harsh truth of ambition, a desire for power that knows no bounds. It is this realpolitik, rather than romantic notions of destiny, that fueled their ascendancy.
Yet, can we ignore the spirited fervor that such legends inspire? The narrative of a rising empire, from the humblest of origins to a colossus, ignites the imagination. It is these stories that stitch the fabric of a nation together, imbuing them with a sense of purpose and identity.
Stories, however inspiring, often mask the iron fist within the velvet glove. The monumental rise of the Ottomans came at the cost of freedoms, a suppression of dissent that laid the groundwork for an authoritarian regime. This aspect cannot be glossed over in our retelling.
And let us not forget, within these grand narratives are the tales of individuals, the Janissaries, sultans, and common folk, whose lives paint a more intricate picture of the empire. Their exploits and hardships add flesh to the skeletal framework of our historical understanding.
A realm as vast and enduring as the Ottoman Empire indeed presents a complex tableau marked by the brilliance of its expansion, the diversity of its people, and the shadows of its dominion. Each perspective here is a thread in the larger weave of its history, a history that we will delve into with vigor and, I dare say, a bit of contention. We commence our discourse with the origins and ascendancy of the Ottoman Empire, an entity that sprawled across continents, binding east and west. Its genesis, shrouded in the mists of legend and the concrete of formidable strategy, beckons for exploration.
The crux of the Ottoman ascendancy lies not merely in valiant conquests, but in astute geopolitical maneuvering. Starting as an Anatolian beylik, its leaders capitalized on the strategic interstice between Asia and Europe, mastering the chessboard of late medieval politics. This empire was not born from sheer force alone, but from a sagacious exploitation of geography and timely alliances.
Yet, how often do we embellish the tales of empires, attributing to their leaders an almost divine sagacity? The narrative of any empire, the Ottoman included, is invariably a tapestry of ambition, necessity, and opportunism rather than a calculated chess game. The origins of this empire, like others, were shaped as much by the vulnerability of its adversaries as by its own strengths.
But the romantic tales of Ertuğrul and Osman offer more than mere entertainment. They serve as the bedrock of an empire's identity. These stories, steeped in valor and unity, fostered a sense of purpose and destiny among the Ottomans that propelled their early conquests. The mythos surrounding its founders imbued the empire with a vigor and ambition that mere strategy could not have engendered.
Strategy, however, cannot be overshadowed by myth. The early Ottomans exhibited an uncanny ability to assimilate diverse peoples, leveraging their strengths and deploying them in their military and administrative frameworks. This pragmatic approach provided a sturdy scaffold for expansion.
Yes, but let's not overlook the pragmatism born of necessity. Their tolerance for diversity, their military innovations. All these were not choices made from a plenitude of options, but from survival's edge. The realpolitik of the era demanded adaptability, not adherence to idealized virtues.
Yet, what is an empire, if not the sum of its ideals and myths, as much as its strategies and battles? The storied ascent of the Ottomans inspired generations, crafting a narrative that guided the empire through centuries.
Inspirational, perhaps, yet every ascent is laden with the darkness of ambition. The seeds of authoritarian rule were already sown in these early conquests. As the empire expanded, so too did the mechanisms of control and suppression. Beneath the veneer of unity and diversity, the iron fist of governance was always palpable.
A compilation of wisdom lays before us. The empire's rise was neither solely a tale of strategic mastery, nor purely the product of mythical destiny. It was a confluence of the pragmatic and the idealistic, the dark and the luminous. Each perspective here enlightens a facet of the Ottoman ascendancy, illustrating the complexity of history's weave. Let us now delve into the martial prowess of the Ottoman Empire, a subject of both admiration and dread. Who better to commence this discussion than Polybius, known for his thorough analysis of military strategy?
Indeed, the Ottoman military evolution is a testament to strategic brilliance. From the early Ghazi warriors, fervent in their pursuit of raid and conquest, to the establishment of the Janissaries. This elite corps, armed with the latest in gunpowder weaponry, exemplified the empire's adaptability. The introduction of firearms on the battlefield was not merely a technological leap, but a revolution in military tactics itself.
Yet, we must not glorify without scrutiny. The rise of the Janissaries and the adoption of gunpowder weaponry indeed transformed the Ottomans into a formidable power. However, it is the manipulation of power and the internal structures of control that fascinate me. The Janissaries, initially an elite military group, evolved into a political force, influencing the empire's governance. The very instruments of military innovation became tools of authoritarian control. The darkness lurking behind such military might cannot be overstated. While Polybius lauds the strategic innovation, let us not forget the cost. The Janissaries, though formidable, became a symbol of the empire's oppressive control over its subjects. Their loyalty bought through the devshirme system, which wrenched boys from their families, converting them into soldiers beholden to no one but the Sultan. This military class did not just suppress external threats, but internal dissent as well.
But the stories of individual Janissaries and their exploits humanize this narrative. It is one thing to discuss strategies and structures. It is another to recount the tales of bravery, loyalty, and sometimes betrayal that pepper the history of the Janissaries. These men, taken from their homes and raised in the art of war, carved out a legacy that is as much about personal valor as it is about military might.
While the personal tales, as Suetonius describes, do offer a captivating glimpse into the life of a Janissary, it's crucial to understand the broader strategic impact. The Ottoman military, with its Janissaries at the forefront, not only expanded the empire's borders, but also secured its place as a dominant power in the world. The foresight to adopt gunpowder weaponry gave the Ottomans an edge that many of their adversaries lacked for centuries.
But let us not overlook the inherent instability such a military force introduced into the Ottoman hierarchical structures. The Janissaries, with their growing influence and power, became a double-edged sword. As much as they were a source of military strength, they also posed a significant threat to the stability of the empire itself. The reliance on this military class illustrates the delicate balance between power and governance. Such is the irony of power. The very foundation of the empire's strength eventually contributed to its vulnerabilities. As a historian, I am compelled to highlight the darker aspects of this evolution. The suppression of dissent and the erosion of freedoms under the watchful eyes of the Janissaries are stark reminders of the cost of maintaining an empire.
The evolution of the Ottoman military strategy, from Ghazi warriors to the esteemed Janissaries, is indeed a subject of both admiration and controversy. From strategic innovations to the complexities of power dynamics, our discussion has traversed the multidimensional aspect of military evolution. The history of the Ottoman Empire, much like the Janissaries themselves, is a rich tapestry of triumph, tragedy, and transformation. We now delve into the labyrinth of economic systems and trade networks, where the Ottoman Empire once reigned as a colossus, bridging east with west. The tale is not solely one of wealth splendor, but also of disparities and discontent. Polybius, you're well versed in the foundation of empires. Begin our journey.
The strength of the Ottoman economic system lay not just in its military conquests, but in its strategic positioning at the crossroads of the world. This empire, vast in ambition and scope, understood early on the power of controlling trade routes. The Silk Road, the spice trade, they were the veins through which the lifeblood of commerce flowed, enriching the empire. Yet it was not just goods that circulated, but ideas, technologies, cultures. A pragmatic approach indeed, but one cannot overlook the empire's adeptness in integrating these into its own economy, fortifying its position in the global narrative of trade.
Yet, let us not paint too unsullied a picture. The golden age of trade and prosperity you speak of, Polybius, was indeed a time when the empire dazzled the world with its riches and splendor. Markets bustling with goods from every corner of the earth, from Chinese silk to Indian spices. But beneath this gleaming exterior was an empire that thrived on the very essence of diversity and integration. It was not merely economic dominion they sought, but the very melding of worlds, a testament to the empire's greatness.
Splendor and integration, Livy, or exploitation and control. The empire's strategic position for trade was but a mechanism for the Sultanate to assert its power, both economically and politically. The wealth amassed flowed upwards, enriching the elite and the coffers of the ruling class, while the common folk saw little of this supposed prosperity. What value has the mingling of cultures and goods if it serves to widen the chasm between the gilded and the guttered?
And of course, where there is power and wealth, there are tales to be told. The Grand Bazaar, teeming not just with goods, but with stories of those who walked its lanes. Merchants, adventurers, even spies, their lives intertwined with the empire's economic heartbeat. But let's not adorn the narrative too fancifully. For every tale of success and fortune, there were those of loss and desperation. Stories that, while they may not grace the pages of grand histories, are no less a part of the empire's complex economic tapestry.
Polybius speaks of strategic mastery, Livy of cultural interweaving, Tacitus of exploitation, and Suetonius of personal tales within this economic framework. Each perspective holds a shard of truth. The Ottoman Empire's role in the global economy was indeed multifaceted, a blend of strategic acumen and cultural integration, marked equally by disparity and discord. Its significance cannot be understated, yet it is crucial to approach its narrative with a discerning eye, recognizing the diverse and often contradictory forces at play within its economic domain.
Our journey through the empire's economic veins reveals an entity alive with complexity and contradiction. An empire that both dazzled and divided, connecting worlds while accentuating the divides within its own. The grandeur of its markets and the shadowed corners of its economic practices remind us that history is a prism, offering hues both bright and dark. Let us carry these multifaceted truths as we navigate further into the empire's legacy. Let us delve into the cultural cloth the Ottoman Empire wove across its vast expanses. Thucydides, you often speak of necessity in the affairs of state. Pray tell, did the Ottomans' celebrated tolerance spring from genuine benevolence or sheer need?
Benevolence is a mask often worn by empire. The Ottoman necessity was governance of a diverse populace. True, there was tolerance, but let's not adorn it with unwarranted moral virtues. It was a calculated strategy for stability, an iron hand in a velvet glove if you prefer. The pragmatism of empire required it.
Ah, but Thucydides, you view everything through the lens of cynical realism. The Ottomans' tolerance fostered a flourishing of cultures, a gathering of wisdom and art under their dominion. This cannot merely be dismissed as pragmatism. It was an achievement of civilization, a beacon in history's long and often dark narrative.
Both of you miss the heart of the matter, the individual tales that breathe life into our understanding of tolerance. Consider Sultan Mehmed II, the conqueror of Constantinople, who invited artists and intellectuals from across the realms to his court. These are not the actions of a merely pragmatic ruler, but of one who appreciated diversity in thought and beauty.
Suetonius, anecdotes do sparkle, but let us not be dazzled. Thucydides and Livy touch on underlying truths. The empire's approach was both pragmatic and culturally astute. Administration of such a vast territory required more than mere tolerance. It demanded a systemic incorporation of diverse peoples, which in turn shaped economic and cultural policies. This was strategic integration, not just tolerance.
Yet, let us not don rose-colored spectacles when viewing this supposed tolerance. Beneath the surface, the diverse populace was a mosaic held together by the mortar of imperial power and coercion. The scale simply meant the Ottomans could not afford the luxury of bigotry found in smaller entities. This was no moral high ground, but rather a high wire act of control.
A fascinating divergence of perspectives. The empire indeed managed a balancing act, weaving together a rich tapestry of cultures. Yet, as with all empires, the threads were held together by the loom of power. The Ottoman legacy of tolerance, whether born of benevolence or necessity, crafted a unique chapter in the annals of civilization, one that continues to inspire and provoke debate. Let us delve into the intricacies of the Ottoman legal system and administration. The empire's longevity owes much to its governance and social order, yet this very structure has been a double-edged sword. Thucydides, your observations on governance have always been sharp. How do you perceive the Ottomans' approach?
The Ottomans crafted a corpus of laws and a bureaucratic system that was both innovative and oppressive. Their administration, while effective, often prioritized order over liberty, a tendency I have observed across many states. The realpolitik of their governance was a testament to their commitment to maintaining power, often at the cost of personal freedom.
Indeed, Thucydides, but let us not overlook the practicality of their systems. The Ottomans were masters of governance, their administrative practices ensuring the empire's resilience. The complexity of their legal codes and the ingenuity in their bureaucratic structure were pivotal in uniting a vast and diverse empire.
However, the so-called ingenuity is but a facade for the controlling tendencies of the empire. The strict enforcement of laws and the suppression of dissent were tools for maintaining power, not justice. The Ottomans' governance, much like the despots of Rome, often smothered the very essence of liberty and free expression under the guise of order.
While you all dance around the political theories and implications, let's not forget the people who lived under this regime. There were sultans who took a keen interest in the administration, yes, but also those whose mismanagement and personal vices led to bureaucratic corruption. The system might have been groundbreaking, but it was only as effective as the ruler at its helm.
Suetonius, effective as the ruler at its helm, is an oversimplification. The Ottomans developed a structured administrative system that, in many cases, transcended the shortcomings of individual rulers. Their meritocratic aspects in civil service exams and appointments should not be understated. Stability and administrative continuity were its hallmarks.
Yet Polybius, a system that prioritizes stability over the individual's freedom, inherently breeds discontent and stifles the growth of the polis. The Ottomans, in their pursuit of order, disregarded the essence of democratic governance as explored in my histories. A state that does not cherish the voices of its citizens invites decay.
Fascinating insights, all. It seems the Ottoman Empire's administration and legal system were as much a source of its strength as they were a cause of internal conflict. Their story is a reminder of the delicate balance between governance and liberty. As with all great empires, the line between control and tyranny is thin. Let us now pivot to the golden age of Ottoman architecture, a subject of both awe and scrutiny. Polybius, you are often pragmatic. What say you about their architectural advancements?
Ottoman architecture, particularly the development of the Ottoman Dome, represents a remarkable technological and aesthetic leap. Look at the Hagia Sophia, which served as an inspiration. It's not just the grandeur, but the strategic urban planning, integrating mosques, baths, and markets into the fabric of society. Such innovation did not only elevate Ottoman society, but also showcase their dominance and sophistication.
Yet, you scrutinize through such a cold lens, Polybius. The beauty of Ottoman architecture transcends mere strategy. Consider the Süleymaniye Mosque, a structure that harmonizes spirituality with the sky itself. Each dome, each minaret, tells a story of aspiration, a narrative of reaching towards the divine. This is the empire at its most poetic, a reflection of human grandeur and sophistication.
Aspirations and poetry aside, Livy, the monumental architecture, also served a darker purpose. These were symbols of authoritarian control, designed to impress, indeed, but also to intimidate. The grandiose scale of Ottoman architecture was as much about displaying the Sultan's absolute power as it was about architectural innovation.
And yet, Tacitus, amidst your cynicism, there are tales of humanity. Take Mimar Sinan, the empire's most revered architect. His life, marked by both genius and controversy, humanizes the story of Ottoman architecture. From humble beginnings to becoming the chief architect, his work reflects not just the ambitions of his sultan, but his personal journey, challenges, and triumphs.
Thucydides, you've been notably silent. What is your take on this?
The importance of architecture in showcasing the might of the Ottoman Empire cannot be overlooked. However, what interests me is the underlying pragmatic approach to their architectural endeavors. The Ottomans' integration of various cultural elements into their architecture was not merely for aesthetic pleasure, but a deliberate attempt to symbolize their control over a vast and diverse empire. This cultural syncretism served to legitimize their rule and unify under the Ottoman identity, a subtle but effective form of governance.
A stimulating discussion, indeed. The Ottomans' architectural legacy, like their empire, is multifaceted, a blend of aspiration, control, human genius, and pragmatic governance. Each of you brings a unique perspective to our understanding of the Ottoman spirit as embodied in stone and mortar. Let us carry forward this analytical rigor as we navigate further into the Ottoman realm. Let us turn our attention to the flowering of Ottoman literature and the arts under the generous patronage of its sultans. The empire at its zenith became a beacon of artistic achievement, heralding an era where poets, painters, and architects thrived, or so we're led to believe. Livy, your admiration for the empire's artistic splendors is well documented. Please enlighten us.
Indeed, Herodotus. The Ottomans mastered the art of living well and left an indelible mark on the world through their cultural achievements. Their sultans were not mere warriors, but patrons of the arts, who understood that the greatest empires live on through their contributions to the human spirit. The beauty of the Ottoman miniature, which captures the essence of life in vivid strokes, or the grandeur of their architecture, speaks of a civilization that sought to reach beyond the mundane, striving for the eternal. This was an empire that knew beauty was as essential as bread to the human soul.
Yet, one must question the supposed autonomy these artists enjoyed under the Sultan's watchful eye. Patronage, especially that of the powerful, is a double-edged sword. Did these artists truly express their visions, or were they merely glorifying their benefactors? While no one can deny the aesthetic achievements of the period, to view them uncritically as a moral high point is to overlook the complex dynamics of power and expression at play. A pertinent observation, Thucydides. Indeed, the magnificence of Ottoman art cannot mask the authoritarian regime that often dictated it. These cultural triumphs were but another facet of the Sultan's power, emblematic of a ruler's vanity and a tool for propaganda. Glory in history is too often written by the victor, and in this case it is painted, sculpted, and recited by them as well.
Allow me to add a dash of color to this discussion. The Ottoman court was rife with intrigue, and the arts flourished not just as a result of enlightened patronage, but amidst a swirling cauldron of ambition, rivalry, and sometimes outright debauchery. Competition among artists for royal favor was fierce, and tales of their exploits are as captivating as their creations. One must not forget, for instance, the legendary rivalry between the poets and architects, which often led to creations that were as much a product of striving to outdo each other as they were of striving to please their sultan.
Intriguing points, but let us not overlook the strategic implications of such patronage. By fostering the arts, the Ottoman sultans were also crafting a narrative of enlightened rule that transcended their military conquests. This was not merely vanity or propaganda, but a conscious effort to cement their legacy and legitimize their rule in the eyes of their subjects and their rivals. The flourishing of the arts under the Ottomans contributed to a shared cultural identity that helped stabilize the empire for centuries.
The discussion is as vibrant as the art in question, it seems. Our roundtable reflects the very essence of what the Ottoman artistic endeavor might have been, a tapestry of ambitions, philosophies, and the unyielding quest for immortality through art. Just as our perspectives differ, so too did the motivations and freedoms of the artists under Ottoman patronage. Whether for glory, control, or the genuine flourishing of human creativity, the empire's legacy in the arts remains undeniable. Let us navigate the turbulent waters of the Ottoman naval prowess. The Mediterranean, a sea of legends, became a stage for the empire's display of maritime dominance. How did this element bolster the Ottomans, and what shadow did it cast upon their subjects and neighbors?
The mastery of the Ottoman fleet was not merely a display of naval strength, but a strategic maneuver that controlled the vital sea lanes, connecting the east and west. Through such dominance, they secured wealth and power, exerting influence far beyond their borders. My analysis of their naval battles reveals a keen understanding of thalassocracy, reminiscent of the Athenian control of the seas in my own time.
Yet, one must not overlook the fundamental human cost of such dominance. The control of sea routes enabled not only the prosperity of the empire, but also the institution of corsaring and piracy. These actions disrupted the lives of countless individuals along the Mediterranean coastlines. The empire's expansion of naval power, therefore, is as much a tale of human misery as it is of strategic triumph.
To romanticize the Ottoman naval achievements would be to ignore the darker aspects of their supremacy at sea. However, one cannot deny the majestic sight of their galleys, the fear they instilled in the hearts of their enemies, and the awe they inspired in their allies. Their naval victories did not just expand their empire, they cemented its legacy in history.
The Ottomans' naval ambitions were a double-edged sword, granting them unprecedented control, but also breeding contempt and resistance. The sea, vast and uncontrollable, eventually turned on them, as overextension and piracy invited coalition forces to challenge their supremacy. The hubris that accompanied their naval endeavors was their undoing, a cycle of rise and fall that history has witnessed time and again.
Among the stories of the empire's naval expeditions, one finds tales of intrigue and scandal. Admirals who rose from slavery to command vast fleets, sultans who dreamt of conquering the waves. These narratives humanize the cold strategy and harsh realities of maritime dominance. They reveal the ambitions and fears of those who sought to rule the sea, offering a glimpse into the personal dramas that unfolded beneath the banner of empire.
Our journey across the Ottoman seas reveals a saga of strategic genius, human struggle, architectural marvels, and the inevitable fallibility of empire. As we have navigated through these tumultuous waters, it is clear that the legacy of the Ottoman naval power is complex, marked by both grandeur and tragedy. Delving into the decline of the magnificent Ottoman Empire, it's fascinating yet somber to trace the internal struggles and external pressures that led to its gradual diminishment. Let us explore without reserve.
Observing from a strategic viewpoint, the empire faced a crucible of challenges. It grappled with military setbacks that sapped its strength and economic stagnation that ate at its vitality like a canker. An empire, much like a fortress, is only as strong as its foundations, and the Ottomans let decay set into theirs.
The essence of the downfall lies in the internal disarray. Leadership faltered, replaced by a bureaucratic quagmire that stifled innovation and bred corruption. A stark contrast to the capable governance of its zenith. The empire's sprawling expanse became a liability, unmanageable and riddled with dissent.
Yet, it is tragic to see such grandeur fade. The once mighty beacon of culture, learning and power reduced to a shadow of its past. The decline of the Ottoman Empire reminds us that all states, regardless of their might, are mortal. Their glory is but fleeting, a reminder to all who would heed history's lessons.
Leadership's failure was most glaring. Inept, indolent rulers who lost the vision and drive of their forefathers. As I've always held, the decay of the state begins with the erosion of virtuous leadership. Over time, the Ottomans became a stark embodiment of this truth.
I've heard tales, scandalous and astonishing, of sultans who indulged in excesses, neglecting their duties while their empire crumbled around them. Such personal failings at the zenith of power contributed to the empire's decline as much as any external force.
While it's tempting to dwell on military or economic failures, one must not overlook the strategic blunders. Opportunities to adapt and evolve were ignored. The empire's leaders clung to obsolete practices long after they had proven ineffective.
And let us not forget the impact of persistent wars and the strain they placed on the Ottoman treasury and society. External pressures indeed, but exacerbated by a relentless ambition that eventually outstripped capability and resources.
The decline, however, set the stage for a transformation within the remains of the empire, giving birth to modern nation-states. From the ashes of decline, new life emerges, as is the nature of history.
Transformation, yes, but at a great cost. The slow erosion of the empire left behind a legacy of fragmentation and conflict, shadows that linger over the region even today.
Indeed, the narrative of decline is a complex tapestry of internal failings and external pressures, a testament to the impermanence of empire. The Ottoman legacy, with all its contradictions and challenges, remains a subject ripe for further exploration and understanding.
In the end, the Ottoman Empire's decline serves as a cautionary tale for all great powers. Adaptation and foresight are paramount, for the world spares no empire from the harsh verdicts of time.
And so history teaches us the invaluable lesson of impermanence. The mightiest of empires are not immune to decline and disintegration, brought upon by a combination of internal vulnerabilities and external adversities.
Our exploration into the decline of the Ottoman Empire reveals the multifaceted nature of history's great empires, their rise, their reign, and inevitably, their fall. Let this discussion serve as a reflection on the transient glory of empires and the eternal lessons they offer. Let us now traverse the valleys of time to discern the Ottoman Empire's lingering echoes in our modern nation-states. I assert that the Ottoman legacy is as vibrant as the waters of the Bosporus, amalgamating cultures, shaping politics, and coloring the legal landscapes of today's societies. Your perspectives, esteemed colleagues?
Reflecting upon the administrative and legal mechanisms devised by the Ottomans, one cannot help but acknowledge their pragmatic brilliance. These systems, though born from ancient wisdom, were tailored for an empire straddling two continents. Their method of governance, particularly the millet system, is an early testament to the concept of personal law, which persists in various forms. This innovation has undeniably influenced modern governance, demonstrating the empire's ability to manage a mosaic of cultures.
But Polybius, let us not forget the empire's cultural magnificence, which has bequeathed to us a legacy rich in art and architecture. The echoes of their grandeur reverberate in the poetry, the minarets that pierce the sky, and the very essence of their cities. This cultural patrimony, preserved through generations, is a testament to the empire's enlightened reign. The soul of the Ottoman aesthetic endures, nourishing the spirit of nations long after the empire's political demise.
Yet, it is paramount to approach this narrative with a critical lens. The remnants of the empire have also seeded enduring strife and contestation across regions. The drawing of boundaries, oblivious to the ethnic and religious mosaics that the Ottoman governance model accommodated, has sown discord in the Middle East and the Balkans. As much as one might laud their administrative or cultural contributions, the geopolitical fragmentation and its attendant conflicts are equally a part of their bequest. I find this adulation of the Ottoman legacy to be somewhat naive. Yes, they contributed to legal systems and left cultural footprints, but let us remember, their rule was not without despotism, suppression, and bloodshed. The legacy of any empire, including the Ottomans, is mired in complexity. It is iniquitous to lionize without acknowledging the atrocities committed. Their reign, like all human endeavors, was a blend of light and darkness, but often it is the shadow that is most instructive for posterity.
If I may interject with a tale to illustrate, consider the story of Sultan Mehmed II, known as the Conqueror. His capture of Constantinople and transformation of it into Istanbul was not merely a military triumph, but also a cultural metamorphosis. This act alone encapsulates the empire's duality, a destructor of ancient realms and a cradle for new civilizations. His legacy, marred by the blood of conquest, also fostered an era of artistic and architectural renaissance. Thus, the Ottoman narrative is rich with such polarities, where darkness and light dance in precarious balance.
Indeed, our deliberation unveils the Ottoman Empire as a conflux of paradoxes, its shadows as deep as its lights are bright. From the rich tapestries of its cultural heritage to the complex legacies of its governance and the indelible marks of its conflicts, its existence continues to resonate. Acknowledging this multifaceted inheritance is vital for understanding both our past and our present. Let us then, armed with the knowledge of histories and the wisdom of experience, continue to explore the myriad pathways threaded by the Ottomans through the annals of time. We find ourselves at the conclusion of our spirited journey through the vast dominion of the Ottoman Empire, a civilization whose complexities and contradictions have given rise to vibrant debate. Let's hear final thoughts, and may they be as candid as the discussions that have preceded.
The structural integrity of the Ottoman Empire, characterized by its administrative prowess and military innovations, reflects the cyclical nature of empires' rise and fall. It is a testament to the theory that the architecture of power is both grand and fragile. Their legacy, particularly in administrative and military realms, offers a mirror to contemporary states, reflecting the eternal challenge of balance between power and justice, order and freedom.
The empire's story is one of stark realism. Power achieved through strategy, expansion through pragmatism. The decline was not a poetic tragedy, but a series of calculated errors and missed opportunities. It serves as an invaluable case study of how internal decay and external pressures conspire to unravel even the mightiest of states. Its legacy, especially its impact on geographical boundaries and political tensions, persists, reminding us that history's specters linger long after the empire's sun has set.
The Ottoman Empire, in its zenith, was a beacon of cultural syncretism and architectural magnificence, an empire where art and architecture flourished under the patronage of its sultans. This golden age, though beset by the inevitable shadows of human ambition and conflict, left us with enduring monuments to human creativity and aspiration. Their cultural legacy endures, a bridge connecting the past to our present, and a reminder of civilization's capacity for beauty amidst turmoil.
Let us not adorn tyranny with the laurels of romance. The empire's advancements came at a price: the suppression of dissent, the iron grip of autocracy. The lessons here are clear. Power, when unchecked, corrupts. Authority, when absolute, stifles the human spirit. The legacy of the Ottoman Empire is thus a cautionary tale, as relevant to modern states as it was to the ancient world. It serves as a stark reminder that the pursuit of power often begets oppression.
Beyond the grandeur and the strategy, let us not overlook the individuals who animated the empire's story: sultans and subjects, architects and artists, warriors and scholars. Their lives, filled with ambition, intrigue, and at times scandal, humanize the historical narrative, offering us a mosaic of experiences that underpin the empire's legacy. The empire's truest inheritance is found in these personal stories, which continue to inspire curiosity and offer lessons in the complexities of power, culture, and human nature.
I am reminded then that the Ottoman Empire, much like the histories we each have chronicled, is a testament to humanity's enduring quest for power, understanding, and legacy. It embodies the eternal dance of cultures, the perpetual struggle for dominance, and the timeless aspiration toward progress. Let our discussion today serve not as a final word, but as a prologue to further inquiry and reflection, for the study of history is the study of ourselves. And so, with respect for the divergent voices and perspectives shared today, let us continue to seek understanding in the vast tapestry of the past, for it is there that the seeds of the future lie buried.